Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin.
I'm Patrick.
And we're going to be talking about the main quest, the main bit of news that came out this week. And that news is Darksiders 3.
Yes.
Which was leaked by Amazon and then revealed like 2 hours later as something that IGN had been working on for 3 weeks.
Yep. It's one of those, okay, the cat's out of the bag, and I'm sure there were a lot of behind-the-scenes calls going, can we do this, please? Everyone knows.
We have it.
We have it.
Yeah.
We're ready. And I'm as much as I hate when those things are ill-timed, I like getting to know this. It's kind of cool, the kind of cool insider kind of feel of it. But I feel like sometimes it lets it down when you have something planned that's really interesting and unique and a big reveal. You don't get to do that.
Okay.
So there's an upside to each.
Yeah. One of the things I like IGN first because it kind of highlights specific things about what's coming out, and it goes into detail on it. They because they're such a big name, they get really intimate access to stuff. And like I don't mind Kotaku's leaks where it's like, hey, we have these details on things that are coming out. This was Amazon. The thing exists. It's gonna come out someday. People have been working on it.
Yeah.
And it exists. Here's the front box of it.
Yeah. And yeah.
So like for me, this was more of a confirmation of something that we suspected that they were working on, and then IGN kind of dug into it and found a lot more details, and that's mostly what we're going to be talking about because the Four Horsemen. I really love the Four Horsemen, especially in the Shannara series. You've never read those, right? Okay, so in the Shannara series, the Four Horsemen are minions of the Dark Lord, and they go after the Druids, who are the magic peacekeepers, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite version of the Four Horsemen. The Four Horsemen in this particular mythology are strife, fury, war, and death, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's something that's been in the series since
trying to remember
day one. Yeah, but I remembered it even though you're the one that actually played the games.
Yeah, I know.
Because I absorb information. I suck it in. So so from what I've heard, which is faster, war or death?
Faster in regards to in the game.
Combat.
Death.
Okay. So as I understand it, based on the playthroughs that I've been watching, her speed seems to be kind of in between those.
Yeah.
Like she's not as fast as Death, but she is faster than the big armored war.
Yeah.
And this is also going to be a prequel to the series because war is already chained up and that whole drama has already started.
The first one, yeah. Which I like that they're doing this. Because the way that the two worked against one, so two, your death and trying to it takes place at the same time as one. So I feel like this taking place at the same time, if not around the same time, is kind of cool.
It's a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to play with that because. I think that the way God of War and some other games, you kind of pigeonhole yourself when you have all this destruction and mayhem and destruction. Yeah. How do you top it?
As well, and as far as
all
the storyline, goes, in order to acknowledge what happened before, you have to kind of scale back, and that's one of the things with, in particular, the God of War series. Like it's difficult. Like after you've killed Zeus. Where do you go?
And the answer is
Zeus.
You just disregard a lot,
and you just time travel, and so this makes a lot more sense as far as that goes, and so I like that. There's also been some weird internet hate as far as Fury's girl. Why is Fury girl? It's called horse men, not horse people, and it's like okay. Clearly, you didn't play any of the other games because Fury has always been a girl, and this is their canon. And if you wanted to complain, you should have complained in Darksiders 1.
Yes,
but you didn't, so shut up.
Yeah, I find it funny when people do that and they get angry. in a situation where there was a recent movie that came out, Colossal.
I believe.
Have you seen? It's the Anne Hathaway movie. I don't know if you've seen the trailer of anything, or if you care. I'm not spoiling the movie. This is like the actual trailer of it. If you haven't, it's not even been on your radar.
I'm not aware of this movie's existence.
She is a I don't know, late 20s, early 30s, whatever, woman who has, let's just say she's down on her luck and she's drinking a lot, and she's making the realization that that there's this giant creature attacking Seoul, Korea,
right,
and that's
as opposed to the other souls. She's the giant creature.
The creature does whatever she does at the time.
So
I'm not going to get into. I don't want to spoil the movie. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything because there are things and things that happen. Like, so there's a part in the trailer where she does this a lot. That's like a nervous habit of hers, where she scratches her head, and then you see the creature doing that. So whatever she does, the creature does, but not always. Like, again, I don't want to spoil it. There were people who were hating this online. There was a reviewer who was just trying to tear a new one and talking about it being this like huge feminist like write up of how, you know, she can do whatever she wants, and it's like, no, that's, if it was a man you wouldn't say crap about it, but because it's a woman who's having an existential crisis, you have a problem with it. If it was a man, it would just be there.
I'm trying to think.
It's a fun movie.
I'm trying to think. There was a series. It's an anime series.
Yeah.
It had a lot to do with music. Razafon.
Okay.
And in that series, there were people who were controlling giant mechs, possibly without their knowledge. Mm-hmm. That's why for Jeremy and I, who you know.
Yeah.
Episode 13 is to reference episode 13 is to reference unimaginable heartbreak, because
because of something. Yeah.
I feel comfortable spoiling this because this is a super indie thing, and the journey is absolutely worth it. Episode 13, the main protagonist of the series believes that he is protecting the girl that he rescued. Like, they ran away together from the giant mech situation, and he fights a giant mech that is connected, like has a life link to her. And in trying to protect her, he attacks and slaughters and annihilates the giant mech and kills her, and it hurt so badly. And this sounds
cool.
Similar to that. And it was episode 13 equals tears. That's what it means. So if you hear me reference episode 13, but that has nothing to do with Darksiders. Darksiders looks cool.
Darksiders looks cool. I love her whip.
I like her whip thing.
I love her whip.
And I also like, apparently, like, some of her attacks use her hair as a weapon, which I'm all about hair as a weapon. And so like it looks really cool. It's got kind of the whole Zelda / God of War thing going on. It does seem to be a little. It's leaning a little bit further into the Dark Souls thing, where it's invincibility frames, whereas God of War had, you needed to be out of range, and so his leaps were ridiculous. And this is just, no, while you're doing this particular dodge, you're invincible, and that's one of the great things that it brought.
That's
through.
A great thing to steal. Fantastic thing to steal.
Do that and put it everywhere.
The God of War leaps were ridiculous. You're leaping like 50 feet
easily.
That's crazy. That's crazy for Spider-Man. Okay. Spider-Man leaps like 25 feet and you're like, wow, that was cool.
And so I like this where you can have a melee weapon and still be vulnerable to attack, but you can still stay in melee range, and I like it. So in general, we like the story, we like the setting, we like the gameplay that we've seen so far. This will probably be something that they will reveal more of at E3, because we're like a month and a week away from E3 or something.
We're 5 weeks away.
It's coming up fast.
I like that they've pitted her against, because previously you were pitted against the other horsemen and all that, and in this you are going to go against the 7 Deadly Sins.
Yes,
which I think is cool, staying in that theme and staying true to form in there, I think, is really cool.
Yeah. I also like one of the things I've heard very little about the actual combat, but apparently the part that Alana got to play for IGN was the battle against Sloth. And Sloth is carried by bugs, and bugs spawn at a fairly fast rate.
I think they'd be pestilence, but sorry, I'm thinking.
He's carried by bugs, and those bugs keep him from having to move.
Yeah.
And you have to kill the bugs really fast to decrease their numbers.
Okay.
And then when you get to the end, he's like, ugh, I didn't want to do things, but now you're making me do things. And then he reveals, his true form or his true power or whatever. And that's a really interesting take on the concept of Sloth is dormant power or potential energy, basically. And I really like that, and I think that sounds like fun. I like the different angle on Christian mythology and how all of that's handled. And so based on what I've seen so far, I think the Darksiders 3 might be something that I'm into. Yeah. And you like the series, so
I like the series. I think it's a fun action RPG, very actiony, and I feel like it's one that doesn't steal from God of War, where other games did that. But we'll talk about that more in Totes a little bit.
We will.
Cool. We'll talk to you guys later then.